Hey boys and girls, today we're going to talk about Jean Craighead George's book, How to Talk to Your Dog. Sometimes we think that nonfiction has to be about topics that are really difficult and they require a lot of study, but this isn't always true. It's actually most important to choose something you're interested in and that you think your audience will be interested in. So let's look at Jean Craighead George's How to Talk to Your Dog. I'm going to pause on this page just for a moment because in the visuals lesson, we talked about how visuals can make an impact. And I think this is a really cool contrast of photograph with drawn images. So that's actually Jean with like a little cartoon dog. So that visual makes a big impact. It makes me feel a little bit more connected, like this author is a real person who I can have something in common with. So we're going to take a stop right here on the dedication page, and she's dedicated her book to Quimmick, her wonderful talking dog. If you know anything about huskies, huskies are those talking dogs that sounds like they speak English sometimes when they bark and howl. So I think that shows that her dog is very important to her. So we start out the book like this. No one will ever love you as much as your dog does. He will follow you devotedly. He will accept your scoldings and still think you're wonderful. He will do your every bidding. He will sit, heel, stay, and come when you call. He will sleep by your bed, defend you from enemies, and be your friend until he dies. How did this wonderful state of affairs come to be? So when I read this page, it makes me really think Jean Craighead George really likes dogs. She is a dog owner, and she has a good relationship with her dog. Dogs are descended from wolves. Most do not look like wolves anymore, but they still have their best traits. They are friendly, and they adore their leader, you. And they like to talk to other dogs and to you in their own tongue. So this, that word tongue is a multiple meaning word. It doesn't mean the body part that's in your mouth. It means a language. It's always good to really think about words and how they might have an extra meaning. So we come to the heading, what is this dog talk? A lot of our nonfiction books are going to be divided up in headings, and as with our feature articles, sometimes we do a question-answer format. So your nonfiction book could have the same format that we used before. So what is this dog talk? It is sound. Whimpers, growls, sniffs, barks, and howls. It is visual. Tail wags, ear twists, eye movements, and other body language. It is chemical. Odors and taste. It is physical contact, the touch of a friend or the whack of an enemy. Speak to your dog in his own language. He will reward you by being an even more devoted friend. Dog talk should begin as early as possible. 7 or 8 weeks is the best age to take home a pup. Replace his love for his mother with love for you. Do as she did. Feed him, pick him up, hug him, pet him, and whimper into his fur. That's mother dog talk. Say his name often. You will know when he recognizes it. He will turn and look at you, and his eyes will brighten. Praise him. Tell him what a good dog he is. Dogs love flattery. Flattery will put him in a good mood, and it will be easier to teach him to sit, stay, heel, and come. Reward his achievements with treats and praise. Treats and saying good dog are the gold stars for puppies. And eventually, praise will be enough. All right, so we're going to pause here for a moment and just think about what we've read so far. In this book, I feel like we have a good balance of things that she's researched and things that she's experienced. And that's what we want to think about with our nonfiction topics. So, if I think about this book and the topic dogs, okay? And so one thing I might think about is what are some things that she might have researched? So I would definitely say that part about the wolves and how dogs are descended from wolves. She may have had to look that up. That would not come from experience. That would come from talking with an expert or reading a book about the history of dogs. Um, but in her experience, she has experienced how dog communication is sound based. She has probably heard her dog make different kinds of sounds. And then she's kind of noticed when he makes this sound, what does he want? What does he need? What is he feeling? She she said it was visual. So you can see the tail wags and you can see the body language of the dog, and you can kind of pick up on when my dog does this, when I see this, that means he's feeling this or he needs this. Now, the third one she mentioned was chemical, odors and taste. That's probably not something that she can experience. So those chemical experiences of a dog, that's something she probably had to look up. How do dogs smell, and how do dogs taste? That's probably something that scientists have studied based and looked at behaviors of patterns of dogs. And so that's probably something she had to research. And the last one she said was physical. This one could probably be both. I feel like Jean Craighead George is a good dog owner, and I can totally see her petting her dog and loving her dog. But she also said that some people are not nice to dogs. I don't think she would be like that, but she probably did some research and found out that that's one way that dogs can receive communication from others, and ways that we can understand what the dogs need and want also in their lives. So I'm going to pause the video and let you do a Pear Deck response. And then on the next slide, we'll pick up with the book